what do you think about this? And I think I've also said it before in other places, but I think it's really important for everyone to have their own personal board of directors.
Mm,
And that's people that can kind of be on your team, and they can be friends, they can be family, they could be former colleagues, they could be people you reported to, they could be people who reported to you.
yeah,
But to be able to go to those people and say, hey, what do you think about this? And so whether that's anyone from Gatorade or Nike or
right.
an uncle, whoever it might be,
Yeah,
being able to go and do that and to have that advisement. It wasn't a decision that I just made quickly. It came with a lot of thought, and I think
yeah,
a lot of calculated risk to
right.
be able to do that. But yeah, it was totally placing a bet.
Yeah, love the board of directors. So how and when do you leverage that network?
Well, I think you know, do treat others as you want to be treated, right? And
Yeah,
so I think I've been able to maintain really good relationships. I've also now become that mentor to others,
right.
just like I have mentors who do the same. And I think it kind of just becomes a thing where, if you have it and it's genuine, and you treat people with respect, and you know that they can give you advice and you're going to trust it, and they're also going to give you feedback and you're willing to hear it, then it can be something that's a really interesting kind of shared two-way conversation.
Yeah,
And so for me, it could be as simple as a text message. It could be as simple as a phone call. It could be as crazy as a cold LinkedIn message for someone that I haven't talked to in 7 years. Um, and I think what I see too is that when you least expect it, sometimes like people will reach out to you, and it could ultimately, change or get you to think about things differently.
yeah,
There's an incredible leader from Nike who was the GM most recently of um, Jordan, the women's division for Jordan brand, and prior to that was GM for North America soccer at Nike. She's now at Sony, and she reached out to me on LinkedIn. I haven't talked to her since 2017. She reached out to me on LinkedIn. She's like a SVP at Sony, super high up. She's
yeah.
incredible. And she reached out to me on LinkedIn probably about a month ago, out of nowhere, and said, hey, Andrew, I was just looking back through some of my old files and saw this like thank you note that you sent me right before you left Nike. I've always been like such a big fan of yours. It's really been really great to like
Wow,
see your career progression. Like, would be awesome to catch up sometime. Like, wishing you all the best. Like, out of nowhere.
wow.
And that all came from like me just being appreciative of her
Right.
during my time there, and seeing her leadership style, the way that she cared about people. And clearly that's genuine because she still does care about people.
Yeah,
And so, just again, the people, I can't stress that enough. Like, seeing those things and trying to emulate those things, and also seeing some of the bad things and not doing those things,
yeah,
is so important. And I think for me, again, that goes back to this whole thing around being an athlete, not just as like a captain or a leader, but also like as a coach, as a player. Like, you got to take all of these different elements and all of these outputs, and then ultimately transform that into your own thing. But if you put it out there, it will come. And I think just being really appreciative for the people and the work, and having respect for it, has always been kind of my mantra. And then you see the fruits of that, no matter if it's what now, 6 years later, or maybe something will happen next week, or just like you and I, we haven't connected in
yeah.
what, 11, 12 years, and
Yep.
here we are
Here we
again.
are.
So
Yeah,
yeah, pretty cool.
yeah. That's great.